I would say I have a tick probably every 3 to 5 seconds. I'm always ticking away, you know. Sure. Okay. Tourette syndrome is basically a neurological disorder. So I think a lot of people think of it as like an illness, or you're like a little like crazy in the head, but it's really not. You know, it's something my brain is telling my body to do. When I first noticed something was different about me than normal kids, I would say it started around 5 or 6 years old. Actually, my first tic was eye movement, so I would roll my eyes. You know, so I would blink my eyes, I would make a sound like that, and if I didn't make the sound or roll my eyes, you know, there would be a lot of tension, and it would make me very like angry, and like if I didn't let the tension out or tic out. Some kids just asked me, you know, why are you making that sound? When I was younger, you know, I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just doing it because it feels good, you know. It relieves tension, you know, in my brain and my body. Just growing up, it was weird, you know. I was just always different. I never really met another kid that had like full-blown Tourette's like I did. So it was different.
I think about 8th grade. Started noticing his just attitude in general changing. He just seemed very. He was very quiet, but he would also lash out very easily if he got him mad. He was just getting more angry, holding it in, bottling it up inside, and it was just eating at him. He always kept to himself. He was always nice, polite, mannerly, very athletic. Even in elementary school, he did like a Marine Corps camp, and I think at the age of like 9, he could do a standing long jump 7'3". So he's got a plaque for it and everything. So
back then I had like 8 or 9 different tics, and it was like trying to hold them in all day at school, not to bother anybody. You know, it's just, I actually would hold most of them in class. That I had control over most, but it's the feeling, like the urge and the tension that you can't release in a classroom, because I didn't really want to bother anybody. I was always just drained, you know. I couldn't focus on doing my work, so it was difficult. By the time I got to 10th grade, I only got past the first semester, and I basically was having panic attacks. You know, I couldn't sit in class anymore. I was sweating. My heartbeat was beating really fast. I was getting like vertigo, like dizzy. You know, I just couldn't sit still. You know, I felt like I was just trapped inside my body, and I just had to get some rest for a couple weeks. My parents made the decision to withdraw me from school and put me in a cyber charter school. So. I never quit anything in my life. Every sport I joined, everything I did in my life, I finished. When I dropped out of public school, it was like I quit something, and that made me feel like a failure, you know, because I wasn't strong enough to deal with my difficulties at the time. The minute I came out of public school to cyber charter school, I was able to like rest, and you know, I was able to
be himself at home, so he can let the tics out and just, you know, just do his thing, just be normal.
My mental health wasn't good at the time, so I was able to rest, become a normal, happy Nick again, like I was when I was a kid. And I was able to just be kid with Tourette's, you know, the happy kid with Tourette's. You know, I was able to not have to hide myself, like just let my tics out. And I was just a happier me, you know. I'm able to learn, do my work, let my tics out, do whatever I have to do, and, you know, get good grades. You know, that's what I wanted in life. I wanted to graduate high school like a normal kid, and cyber charter school really made that possible for me, so that was good. If it wasn't for cyber charter school, I wouldn't have graduated.
Agora just really helped him adapt. And it also allowed him time, more time for himself, for something that he discovered with jiu-jitsu.
I really had never met anybody with Tourette's. I think my exposure was like TV, like comedy and whatnot. And obviously that's not really the case. It's not just like cuss words that come out. You know, there's like tics that are involved that are involuntary. And when I met him, I mean, I think I could pick up on it, but he's a pretty normal kid. I think he was doing his best to keep him in when he first met me. And that's when I was like, be who you are. Like, we're not going to judge you. We all work really hard. I mean, the kid's an amazing athlete, an amazing jiu-jitsu partner, trainer. He keeps me earnest. Like, we have really strong, hard roles all the time. And, you know, I want him to be himself when he's here. I want him to feel comfortable when he's here. If he spends most of his day out there holding his tics in, I prefer him not to waste that energy here. I mean, we're already putting out tremendous amount of energy to do what we do in the community that we do it. So I just want him to be himself, you know, and it's part of him. It's part of who he is. I know it's just got to be exhausting when he ticks like 20,000 times a day. So if he can just not spend all that energy holding it in, then that's what I would prefer.
Every time I do jiu-jitsu, like after the benefits of it, my tics aren't as bad. I feel accomplished. My anxiety and like depressive state just decrease, you know, so much. It's, you know, the benefits of jiu-jitsu is like a natural medication that, you know, basically for me, I don't need medicine because of jiu-jitsu. So it's like my medicine. So it's awesome.
So when you're like demonstrating, it's kind of like a dance. You need the demonstration partner to be able to work at a certain level that still allows you to slowly go through the technique. And that's really difficult to find the right type of people to do that. And Nick's very good at kind of knowing exactly where I need him to be, when I need him to be able to explain the situation, which shows he knows the inner workings of that technique. It's just he's one of the few guys that I can really trust to make the technique look proficient.
He clears it. I hop a lot of pressure forward on him here. Okay? Hop. Control.
I don't want to come off as the person and be like, oh, I never seen it. What are you talking about? I only see Nick. When he's here and he's training, nobody's like, oh, that's that funny kid with Tourette's. That's the kid that you don't want to make eye contact with during role selection because you just don't want to have to fight him. You wait until he grapples a 300-pound guy to hopefully get him when he's tired. That's what it's like rolling with Nick. That's what it's like interacting with him. A great student is somebody that's going to push me to be better as a practitioner, as a teacher, because he's nipping at my heels. And like if I'm 33, soon to be 34, he's 20, this is going to tip. It doesn't hold him back, doesn't hold me back. And when you're training with him, that's the only thing you think about is how many times am I going to get tapped?
Get up here. We all know him. We all love him. Nicholas Hand. Round belt. You earned it, man. I'm gonna cry. I was worth kidding here. And that's my little brother. Thank you, Professor. All right, thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Get the brother? Get the brother. All right.
Jiu-jitsu has helped him go on with life. It made him stronger mentally and to deal with the Tourette's. I heard about cyber school, and I didn't know much about it before. But then I was thankful. I was so thankful that he had cyber school because I don't think Nick would have graduated at the way he was going. He even went to his graduation cap and gown. I told him he had to, if he could, he should do it, and he did.
I feel amazing. Getting brown belt was a long time coming, about 5.5 years. Dedicated my life to jiu-jitsu, so I'm very happy.
Good job.
Nick Han is the man.